Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Wire Sports Media. So, now you wonder why I say Caitlin Clark would never, ever play in Unrivaled. Because Unrivaled just seems like they trying to lure anybody to them for a mid-shift first-year league, not company, but league, that broke even, making $27 million, had a break even, had all these investors, had Steph Curry, Serena Williams, whoever. But at the same time, they couldn't lock down Caitlin Clark. They couldn't lock down Angel Wilson. They couldn't keep Sabrina Ionescu. Kelsey Plum bailed on them, and they had a slew of injuries. Now, Paige Bueckers, she just, before tomorrow's draft, Kendra Andrews, Malika Andrews' sister, both of them work for ESPN, which I don't care for neither one of them. Made an announcement today. She wrote a column saying, hey, the projected number one pick. Matter of fact, let me pull it up and then I'll read it to you. The projected number one draft pick, Paige Bueckers, is signing a 3-year deal with the 3-on-3 league. Unrivaled sources tell ESPN on Sunday. Paige Bueckers' first salary for the 10-week Unrivaled season will exceed what she will make in the 4 years of her contract with the WNBA, sources say. If Bueckers is the top pick in the draft, she is set to earn $78,831 in her first year, according to the WNBA collective bargaining agreement. Under the old bargaining agreement. Last year, Bueckers signed an NIL deal with Unrivaled, which gives her equity in the league. She didn't play in Unrivaled while finishing her college career with UConn and winning her first national championship in the NCAA tournament a week ago. Bueckers averaged 19 points, 4.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, while shooting 53% from the field, including 41% from the three-point range. Last season with UConn. She is a franchise-altering player for the Dallas Wings, who has a top pick in the draft. So, after Unrivaled inaugural season, March source told ESPN that signing Bueckers, as well as making a push for Caitlin Clark and Angel Wilson, were top priorities as the league looks to take the next step forward. So, instead of focusing on expansion through adding teams, the league will want to build on what it felt made it so successful in year one, signing the best women basketball players and providing them with premier resources and financial support. Bueckers brings another star name to the league that has prided itself and tapping into the WNBA talent. Now, me personally, I have a lot to say, and I'm going to have a lot to get off my chest. All right, so let's sit back and kick it with me real quick. So, first of all, you got to look at this. Paige Bueckers signed a 3-year deal. Okay, she gets through this season with the WNBA, right? She goes into Unrivaled. Now, we already know that Unrivaled had a lot of injuries this past season. Marina Mabrey been out the whole season, didn't even play until probably 2 weeks before the season ended. Then you had Jackie Young, who's been injured most of the season. You had Alyssa Thomas, who got injured. You had Angel Reese that got injured. You had so many different injuries And with Paige Bueckers' injury history, the Dallas Wings should be concerned because if she does make it through the season and she does play in Unrivaled and she gets injured and she can't play in her second year, then that's going to be a question the league going to have to talk to about them about because now you haven't. It's no different than playing overseas and getting injured. You know what I'm saying? And some people say, well, injuries going to happen, but not to your star player. If you have a star player on your team, you have to be concerned about that. That's like Michael Jordan going overseas playing in, or Kobe Bryant or LeBron James. You just don't do it. They season already long enough. But when you have people like, say, Caitlin Clark, who don't need a rival money for financial support, hell, even Paige Bueckers don't need a rival for financial support. She makes a lot of money off the court. Same thing with Caitlin Clark. Same thing with Angel Reese. But if she was to get injured, that's going to be a really bad blow for the Dallas Wings. I just I'm just being as open and honest as I can be because I don't want to risk injury. This is why I don't want Caitlin Clark playing. Would people say, well, I would love to see her play in it? No, I don't. Because Caitlin Clark's superstar ability exceeds all of them. She's, like I said before in my other video, she's up here. They right here and right here. Caitlin Clark don't need a rival. And they begging her. If you can't even keep Sabrina Ionescu, how can you keep what can you offer Caitlin Clark? What can you offer Caitlin Clark to make sure she's there? You're gonna have to pay her $2 to $3 million to get her in, and then you're gonna have to pay Asia Wilson close to that too. Because anything you pay Caitlin Clark, you best believe Asia Wilson's gonna be crying at the mouth, want the same thing or close to the same thing. I don't see Asia Wilson even playing in this league. Now she says she might, in the future, but I don't see her playing in the league. You know why? Because she has a certain routine that she does in the off season, and she's not gonna risk it that because she's just as important as a franchise player for the Aces than anybody. You could afford to get Jackie Young and all of them injured. You could replace them. You could get somebody to come in, but you cannot place your star player. That's like Caitlin Clark getting hurt for the Indiana Fever, and guess what? The Indiana Fever is struggling to win games. You need your superstar at all times. You don't need them going off playing overseas or playing in other leagues. Leave that for other players to do. Players that need developing, players that need to work on their game. They need that. Just having this extra lead just because you got better facilities and you got better resources. If you pay attention, if these people pay attention to the WNBA, they working on that. They are getting that. Some of these teams are and ownership are getting some of that stuff put for these franchises. So where they don't have to feel like they have to worry about going somewhere else. And eventually you're gonna get paid more, once the new collective bargaining agreement get ironed out. But me personally, I think they just want to force Paige in it. Now that's on her signing that 3-year deal. That's on her. I was telling them, I said, hey, let's do it on a year-to-year basis, see how I feel. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about this. She just coming out of the NCAA tournament. Same thing Caitlin Clark did. But see, the only thing about this, Paige doesn't have Olympic break to slow things down for her to get rest. Soon as she get drafted, she got to report to training camp on the 27th. Then their first preseason game is around May. The season kicks off May 16th. And then hopefully if the Dallas Wings make the playoffs, if they make the playoffs, then they got to play in the playoffs. Then she's gonna have a long season. Her body is never gonna rest. Never gonna rest. Caitlin was fortunate to get that break, that that 28 to 38-day break for because of the Olympic break. Paige is not going to be the exception to that. And then it depends on that schedule. Depends on she start or how she gonna rotate to manage her minutes and stuff like that. And I think they're gonna do that, but she don't get burned out. But nevertheless, then after the season over, you gotta wait till what by January for Unrivaled to kick in. So that's a 2 month off a little bit to get break, and then you gotta go right back into that, and then you gotta do everything all over again. So me personally, that's on her. But I just it's just funny just to see Unrivaled doing everything possible trying to get this league off the ground when they don't even know about if they're gonna get any new TV deal. You know what I'm saying? They still got TBS or TNT, and we don't even know if they broke even with them yet. Because the viewership numbers was bad. It was very, very, very bad. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. But I do want to touch on another thing before I clear out of here. Now, I was gonna do a video on it, but I left it alone. I just want to tie it up into this video because it's all pretty much the same. That new LI sponsorship the WNBA has with Sydney Colson, Paige Bueckers, and Breonna Stewart, you know, um, promoting it, sponsoring it, whatever the case may be. Now, a lot of people is up in the air about it, saying that hey, Paige already getting the welcome mat rolled out. And you can't be naive, not see how it is. Yeah, we want to talk basketball. We don't want to compare Caitlin, but Caitlin and Paige been being compared ever since they was in college. You know the narrative. Paige was Caitlin before Caitlin became Caitlin. But people need to go back and look at the history of these two players because they played together a long time ago. Caitlin always been Caitlin. People just didn't recognize her game until she got to Iowa. But she was cold before then. She would have won freshman of the year, but they gave it a Paige because Caitlin had better numbers. She had a better year than Paige. But guess what? Paige is the darling. Paige wants to be liked. That's the difference between her and Caitlin. Paige wants to be liked. She's a people person. She wants to be liked. Caitlin can rock any way. You can either like her or don't like her, but she's still gonna do that. But the one difference between the two, one is a mega superstar, and the other one is just right here. Yeah, Paige could play. I'm not knocking her game. She could play. Caitlin is on another level. She's that Michael Jordan. It's like she's Michael Jordan. Paige is Kobe. It's like this is Michael Jordan. Paige is LeBron. You gonna always continue to chase her. Paige is always going to live behind her. Yeah, Paige got a championship in college. That's fine. I mean, if I had 5-star recruits too, that's fine. She did it. She got that. She got that. I'm not knocking her for that. You know what I'm saying? But not saying that she's better she's better than Caitlin Clark. She's not. Caitlin's game is light years ahead. It's light years, and it's going to get better. And you're going to see it each year because she's dedicated. You think about this. Who in the WNBA could walk into the Masters and be greeted the way she did? Nobody. Who could walk at any sports arena and be welcome? Matter of fact, who from the WNBA could sit down with Roger Goodell, the commissioner, and talk about bringing a flag football league into you know, to fruition with Serena Williams? Not none of them. So when I say Caitlin Clark, gravity is out of this world, you best damn believe what I'm talking about because her gravity is out of this world. I don't care what Paige does. I don't care what Adrian Wilson does. I don't care what Breonna Stewart does. I don't care what Nafisa Carter does. I don't care what none of them does because none of them has the star power that Caitlin Clark has. It's the difference of want to be like and being a people person, difference between walking in mortality. And that's Caitlin Clark. Dang, I just dropped some bars right there for y'all. So that's just where I'm at with it, because I'm me personally just listen to this all the time. It's just crazy because I just think that people just don't understand it. You know, not saying Paige is a bad person, not saying that her being like or she's a people person is a bad thing. No, it's not. But she wants to be liked. I don't think Paige can handle scrutiny. Caitlin Clark can handle scrutiny. We don't seen it. She takes the good with the bad. I don't think Paige could do that, because everybody wants to call her, shoo her in. Oh, you're gonna be all right, Paige. They're gonna suck her up, be all underneath her. So they not they didn't do that for Caitlyn, and that's fine. But make no mistake, we already know who runs the show. That's Caitlin Clark, Caitlin Elizabeth Clark. That is. So, with that being said, I will be going live tomorrow night for the draft. I am putting my template together tonight, and I'll be kicking out, get my live together, because we're gonna have some fun tomorrow. We're gonna have some fun. But until the next episode, Live Wire Sports. Am I?
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.